As we mentioned, Vice President Harris and former President Trump have wrapped up their final battleground blitz, and now the wait for results begins. Either candidate could make history tonight if elected. Vice President Harris could become the first female president of the United States, while former President Trump would be just the second president to win non-consecutive terms. Joining me now from the Harris headquarters is Democratic Senator from California and Harris campaign co-chair Laphonza Butler. Senator Butler, thanks so much for joining us on Election Day. We really appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thanks so much.
So take us inside the campaign. What is the mood? An official in Michigan described it as nauseously optimistic to me. How are you feeling?
Look, I don't know that I was nauseously optimistic. What we know is that we have made a high-quality case to the American people in a very short period of time. We are feeling like voters understand what is the opportunity in front of us tonight to write the next chapter of the great American story, and I think they're prepared to do their part. And so we are optimistic. We feel good. We feel good about the effort that we've put in, and now it's in the hands of the American people.
It is the voters' day. Let me ask you this. Vice President Harris has spent really these final weeks of her campaign trying to appeal to moderate voters. She's been campaigning, of course, with former Congresswoman Liz Cheney. She's been really touting a message of democracy, arguing that former President Trump is a threat to the democracy. She has been talking about other issues like reproductive rights and the economy. But again, a lot of the focus has been on the democracy. Do you think that was a mistake? Is that the best issue to turn out the base and to energize voters to go to the polls today?
Look, as you noted, Kristen, the vice president has been, really speaking to all voters, and the communication about the sacredness of our democracy really speaks to the patriotic spirit that we know the American people have. We love this country. We want to protect this democracy for future generations. And I think the vice president is right and has made a very strong case about the value of our democracy and what we owe to the next generations. And we've got to be speaking to that. Young voters matter. It will matter in this election. There's so many people who've come before us, who have fought for the right to vote, who have protected this democracy on battlefields across the world. And so I think that she is making a strong case about the greatness of America and and the opportunity that we have in front of us to save it, to preserve it, and to hand it over to future generations, this next generation of leadership.
There had been some concern that African-American men were not supporting her the same numbers that they supported President Biden, former President Barack Obama. Do you think that the campaign that Harris surrogates have done enough leading into this election day to energize African-American men around her?
Kristen, let me be the first to say thank you to every African-American man that has already cast their ballot and who is going to be going to cast their ballot tonight. Not only are they supporting Vice President Harris, but they support the vice president and Democrats traditionally second only to Black women. And so I want to salute their commitment to preserving this country and this democracy, for fighting for a government that will work for everyone. And I think the vice president has introduced policies for the first time in history in the presidential campaign that speaks directly to them. And I think that we will see tonight the power of Black men and frankly, the role that they've always played in presidential elections.
What do you make of former President Trump's closing argument? He has spoken about issues like the economy and immigration, but there's also been a lot of rhetoric. Some would call it dark rhetoric. In some cases, he even invoked violence. What do you make of that closing message?
Look, it's the same old tired message. For the last 9 years, the American people have been listening to Donald Trump denigrate women and people with disabilities. We have, heard his, cries of antagonism and dismissal of people who may think differently than him. We've heard his whining, frankly, about things that may not go his way, and we're done with it. The vice president has made this point 23 times in the last week. The American people are done with his tired old story. And if that's the best argument that he's got to close, then I think the choice before the American people tonight is a very clear one.
Senator, what are the plans within the Harris campaign if former President Trump prematurely declares victory tonight, as he did in 2020?
Look, I think what we are trying to do is let the voices of the American people be heard through their vote. We are prepared to be patient. We are prepared to defend and protect the rights of every American to have their vote counted and to have their voice heard. We know that the former president has been laying the groundwork to do exactly what you just said, to declare early victory, to create chaos and confusion. But that's the only tool he's got. And so rest assured, we have a top-notch legal team, voter protection attorneys all over the country with hotlines that are ready to go for voters to call into. Go to iwillvote.com and find all of the information that you need. But we are, again, prepared to be patient and ensure that every voice, every vote of the American people is cast and counted.
All right, Senator Butler, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.